Y'all, so it looks like Nicki Minaj's beef with the Carters is still very hot because Nicki just dragged them for filth for trying to ruin her career and deliberately sabotage her. The tension between Nicki and the Carters has been bubbling under the surface for a minute now, but things really started to boil over a few months ago when Nicki accused the Carters of allegedly signing Megan Thee Stallion just because they wanted to make Megan into the new Nicki and overthrow her as the queen of rap. And let's not forget about when Nicki claimed that Roc Nation was out here sponsoring hate attacks towards her. Well, now it seems like the Carters have allegedly taken things up a notch by coming for Nicki's coin. This drama is way too juicy to ignore because you know Nicki Minaj is finna fight back against them with all her barbs to expose their shady behavior. It looks like Nicki is finally ready to spill all the tea in this situation, and y'all, looks like Beyonce did her dirty big time. So let's spill all the tea. Now, Nicki's drama with Beyonce flared up again recently when the VMAs announced Megan Thee Stallion as this year's host, and let's just say it got people talking. Everybody assumed that Nicki would host again, especially since she's been holding down the VMAs for the past couple of years. So when Megan was revealed as the new host, everybody started talking about Nicki's rant about how Beyonce and Jay-Z are out to get her, and we're not so crazy after all. So she might have been saying some real stuff, and for a long time people thought she was just doing too much and trying to cause problems for Beyonce out of jealousy. So for those of you who need a refresher, Nicki's got history with Meg, Beyonce, and Jay-Z, and it's not a pretty history. You probably remember the whole mess when Megan dropped her song Hiss, which had Nicki going off on social media for days. The song went to #1 and it was probably boosted by Nicki's rant and how she went on and on with Megan over these not so subtle diss that Megan threw her way in the song. Now at the time we thought that the beef was just between Nicki and Megan, but what we know now is that Beyonce and Jay-Z were involved as well, allegedly. Now Nicki's beef with Beyonce and Jay-Z goes way back, longer than most people realize. There was a time when Nicki and Beyonce were super close, collaborating on iconic tracks like Feeling Myself and Flawless, the remix, but somewhere along the line things started to change. Even though they haven't had any public blowouts, fans have picked up on some subtle shade between Nicki and Beyonce. The tension isn't front and center, but it definitely is simmering underneath the surface. For example, in her song with Doja Cat, Say So, Nicki said, "Why you talking about who body fake? With all them fillers in your face, you just full of hate. The real butt and keep your ninja home. Now you looking silly, that's word to silicone." And fans couldn't help but find it odd when Nicki started shading Beyonce. But what really got people buzzing was how this drama kicked off just weeks after Beyonce hopped on the remix of Megan's hit Savage. With Nicki and Megan already on shaky ground at the time, and it didn't take long for fans to put 2 and 2 together to see what was going on. And y'all know that when Nicki starts in on someone, she doesn't stop until she said her piece. Because that was not the last time Nicki was accused of shading Beyonce. Because in the song Press Play, she name dropped Beyonce saying, "They say why you can't Beyonce, daddy with no businessman, mama with no business owner. What an idiot. You can't be me. I'm already it." And guess what Beyonce's mommy and daddy were? Business owners. And that's when it seemed like Nicki started distancing herself from Beyonce once B got close to Megan and Cardi. And let's be real, Beyonce doesn't do bad press, especially with Nicki's name being dragged recently due to her husband's actions. So it wouldn't be surprising if Queen B decided to keep her distance too. That makes some sense, right? But apparently Nicki wasn't too thrilled about it. And things only got messy when her ongoing feud with Megan, who signed to Roc Nation. When Nicki went off on Megan, she didn't hesitate to call out The Roc several times, accusing them of trying to sabotage her. In her first tweet, she accused Megan of being bold because she knows that she's backed by Roc Nation. She said, "B thinks she a bully cause she got a Roc Nation brunch every year. Be mad at Party. He told all your tea, but you taking shots at my family? Get up on your good foot. Go apologize to your mother, you nasty serpent." She also posted a screenshot of an ad by Roc Nation on Twitter where they were promoting Megan's song Hiss, and she said, "Spending so much money, and she's the little broke independent artist. Desiree, you gotta let it go, baby. The world knows she's ASS and can't rap. stop trying to make fetch happen. I just put out a song with no promo, no video. It's already number 2. She also threatened to expose Desiree Perez, who was the CEO of Roc Nation, for firing people without good reason, and also spending millions of dollars to prop Megan up to be the next Nicki Minaj, because they just can't stand how successful Nicki is, and they want to take her down a notch at all costs. She tweeted, "On the next song, I delve into all the people Desiree allegedly fired for unknown reasons. Other things as well. So many people were blindsided and hurt by her, allegedly. She's willing to go broke to try to replace me? Fix it, Jesus." But this drama doesn't stop with Miss Beyonce either. Nicki's got beef with Jay-Z too. Rumor has it that Nicki has a solid reason to be mad at Jay-Z and Roc Nation, because they have allegedly helped Meek Mill cover up the fact that he laid hands on her back when they were together. A lot of people think that Nicki is just jealous because Beyonce and Jay-Z picked Megan Thee Stallion as their protege and invested millions of dollars into her. But in reality, that's not even where the drama started. It started because Roc Nation allegedly helped her ex-boyfriend Meek Mill get away with putting hands on her and DVing her while they were together. Fast forward a couple years after she and Meek Mill broke up, and Nicki announced that she was working on a docuseries about her life called Queen, the documentary. But word on the streets is that someone from Roc Nation reached out and made sure she cut out the parts where Meek was being cruel and putting his hands on her, and they didn't want her making him look bad. Well, HBO eventually canceled the documentary, but Nicki posted a snippet from the already filmed footage where she talks about how she was badly treated by an ex.
My mother would let my father be violent with her. And she always brings up the story as a little girl. I would stand in front of my mother and go like this. And I vowed, like, that's why I'm, like, maybe some people would describe me as abrasive or bitchy or whatever, because I vowed from that age, no man would ever abuse me, call me out my name, treat me like that. And then all of a sudden, that was my life.
Now, though Nicki didn't name names, Meek Mill definitely caught the hint and hit her with a cease and desist letter, trying to shut down any talk about the situation. And this only fueled Nicki's anger, and she went off on him. She tweeted, "You a clown. You do it for likes. Twitter fingers, beat women, scared of men. You beat your own sister and taped it. Spit on her and taped it. Kicked me in front of your mother and sent her to the hospital. Sucking Drake's D made you feel tough again? Move on. You can never stand on your own. You was around. You know. See you soon." It's no surprise that Nicki's still holding on to a grudge against Jay-Z. While Nicki has been vocal about her feelings, Jay-Z and Beyonce have been very quiet. But fans are beginning to think that Nicki might be onto something, believing that Roc Nation could be out to get her. Last year when Nicki hosted the VMAs, she made an interesting comment, hinting that someone had pressured MTV into dropping her.
Now listen, real quick. MTV is petrified because they got a couple calls yesterday, and people were saying, what if Nicki says this and if Nicki says that? And you know, and I said, it's okay, MTV, I can control myself.
And not long before Megan was announced as the new host, some interesting claims were going viral on social media. Like this one that said, Bigfoot, aka Megan and Roc Nation, allegedly threatened MTV last year about Nicki performing Red Ruby to Sleaze. Now this year's VMAs will be hosted by guess who? The person who can't even sell out arenas on her first tour. The person who just made the Democratic Party look like a joke by twerking on the vice president's stage. Desiree allegedly continues to use one of y'all favorite singers to leverage Bigfoot being propped up to seem bigger than she is. It continued, in other words, if Bigfoot can't host the VMAs, they're allegedly told that the husband and wife, who y'all love so much, will not be in attendance. Millions of dollars spent on her and couldn't crack 65,000 albums in 1 week? It just so happens that this year the VMAs will be shot in Queens. Desiree and Bigfoot allegedly were so afraid of it being about Nicki again for the 3rd year in a row. They demanded that Bigfoot host and perform. Another source claimed the same thing, saying, VMA debacle, Desiree Perez of Roc Nation threatened MTV. She made sure it was known that if Nicki Minaj performed Red Ruby at the VMAs, there would be trouble. Remember Nicki said in her opening monologue at the VMAs last year, phone calls were made about her being the show's host. Now Desiree has asked the VMAs allow Megan to host and perform this year 2024 so that Nicki won't be the main attraction in her hometown of Queens, where the VMAs will be hosted this year. Beyonce is being used as leverage. Desiree has the power to make sure Beyonce doesn't show up if the demands for Megan are not met. However ironic for some people this may be, a lot of trouble always leads back to Roc Nation. Now I get that it's Roc Nation's job to promote Megan since she's one of their artists, but it seems like they're doing it in a little sketchy way. It looks like there might be some truth to these rumors about how Roc Nation is trying to turn Megan into the next Nicki Minaj. Well, the fans have clocked the tea, and they believe in comments saying, "I can't wait for the Carters and Devil Nation to get exposed for all the evil they do." This sounds all too familiar to what happened at the Grammys. Oh, they working against my sister today, but they will not succeed. And Nicki Minaj is mad that Beyonce called Megan the Queen, and Jay-Z's Roc Nation manages Megan's business endeavors. Megan won Grammys with Beyonce. Megan is everything that Nicki Minaj wanted to be. But I gotta know what y'all feel about this. Do y'all think that Nicki really has reason to be mad at Roc Nation? Or do you think that she's just projecting her issues with Megan? Drop your thoughts and comments below and then check out this next video.